Yeah, we're live. Whoa, we're in the Facebook world right now. Hola, to you, senors.
Hello, senor.
Oh, what a wonderful Saturday. Is it cold up there? It's used to
No,
weather up in the
like
northern region of the states.
raining. It's been raining the last couple days here.
Yeah, I mean it was actually like mid 60s and even kind of low 70s up here today, but it was like it like rained in the morning, then it was sunny, then it rained again. And last night though, it was like I'm sitting in my up here in my third floor apartment, and I don't know if that's the reason why, but the wind was blowing so damn hard it sounded like it was a freaking blizzard outside. It was weird.
It's because you're on the third floor and no one's above you except for a roof.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's above me.
Oh, I see where you went there with that.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's been
Pat's got jokes.
It's gonna be 70 tomorrow down here.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it's
I mean,
gonna be.
It's finally starting to get season appropriate here, I guess. I mean, it's getting it downwards, only getting into like the upper 50s and stuff, which I think is still technically a little warm for early November, late October, but we'll see how the next few months go as we begin the slow descent into the winter of our discontent, as it were.
Is there really a proper seasonal weather at a certain proper time of year anymore?
I mean, no, because global warming, but
But I want to deal with snow like you guys do, so
Yeah, whatever.
I've heard, see, like I always love that you see like those places that publish like the long range weather forecasts and everything, and I've seen a couple things that have said our winter should be warmer than normal, but we still could get significant snowfall. So it's like, yay. And I think they also said we could get like early snowfall. So I think they were meaning like like December snow. So
maybe it'll snow and then it'll be 62 days later and it'll melt away.
Well, yeah, it'll be like that one Lewis Black joke where he says like I was in Boston for 4 days and I experienced 5 seasons. It was 30, it was 60, it was 90, then it was 12.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't chilly today. It was like it was cold in the morning, and then it got warm because the sun came out. But it rained like there was a torrential downpour this morning.
Yep.
And it was cold as hell. And then the rain stopped. The sun came out, and then it was like 60 something. It's like okay.
Is a trick or treat for you tomorrow, or is it already done, Jeremy?
No, it's tomorrow. It's always
tomorrow.
on. Yeah.
I think it was. I believe there were some municipalities too that around this area which had it scheduled for last night, but because the weather yesterday ended up being so god awful at night because it was raining pretty heavily and the wind and shit, that they postponed it until tomorrow. See, now I don't know what it is here where I live now, and I also don't know if they do like trick or treating in the buildings and stuff. So I mean, I have no idea how many children even
or trunk or treat. That seems to be a popular thing this year. Trunk or treat.
Yes.
Yeah, my sister's done that before in Jersey. They're doing regular trick or treat this year, though. They have theirs tomorrow, but
yeah, a lot of the elementaries will do that. There's a lot of especially in the areas that are definitely more rural. They'll do trunk or treats at a local elementary school or something like that, so kids can actually do some form of trick or treating because they're so spread freaking apart that your closest neighbor might be, I don't know, 200 yards away, and the next one's, they don't really have tight communities, which is not a bad thing, but it doesn't make great trick or treating.
Yeah, I mean, the road where I now used to live and my parents now used to live, they're out of the house now. It's kind of rural. It's fairly spread out, and there just haven't been any kids that lived on that road for years now. I don't remember the last time we actually had a trick or treater come to the freaking house. So it might have been close to 10 years at this point. So
yeah, I was always lucky, and my kids have always been lucky. We always lived in communities where there was like lots of houses, either row homes or there was the local like freaking townhouses there for that people rented and stuff like that. There was always a lot of houses to go to that were like really close together, so we always lucked out. And like even where I live now, the kids like we're not right on top of each other, but there's like twin, then a yard, then the next twins, and yard next twin. There's just a lot of houses and a lot of area for them to get lots of candy.
Yeah, where I used to live in New Jersey, in Hackettstown, it was like that, where there were sidewalks. There aren't always sidewalks in some communities in Pennsylvania, but there were sidewalks. Houses were close enough together, and it was like a town. So it was relatively easy to trick or treat. And then it's like we moved out here, and it's like, well, we live in a spread out area now. There's no sidewalks, so and and then they after the first couple of years we lived here, they kind of moved trick or treating from being like at night to being like the Saturday or Sunday in the afternoon. So it was like safer and stuff, which I got, but it was like kind of ruined the atmosphere in a lot of ways. So
yeah. So I got a question for you guys. Okay, since we're on the topic of Halloween, and if whoever's watching us live right now on Facebook, the same question applies to you. What was your costumes homemade, or did your parents buy costumes? My costumes, because we were poor, were always homemade.
It's because we were poor.
We were. I will say that we were poor.
I think mine were more homemade than I would say more homemade, or a combination of both, maybe. So
I think I had a mix. It would depend upon what I wanted to go as that particular year. But the thing of it is too is that it's been so long now, I just can't remember any particular costumes or that I ever went as or whatever. But I'm pretty sure I had like it would depend. So it could be either or.
I didn't hear anything out of you, this Mr. Joe.
Majority of mine were made. I had a couple that were like store bought, but there were majority of them were made. I think I only had like 3 that were store bought, and after a certain point, me and my friend just made up our own shit, really. Nice. And we were just dressing up as random ghosts and vampires and weird shit, and just going out with our bags for trick or treat. We didn't care at the point.
Nice.
We weren't into the whole like, what's the trendy costume for this year? We really didn't care at that point. We were just doing our own thing. We we're just having fun.
Yeah.
Honestly,
did you ever do something like what I saw on Family Guy a couple of weeks ago, where the one kid's just like, he's just wearing like a sign on his shirt that says, "This is my costume"?
My one friend did that the one time. Yeah.
So
my friend Jason did that once.
So
he dressed all in black.
Nice. So
and white gloves.
So just to let you guys know, we got Shane joining us, and he said he also has had both, depending on like the character that he was that year. But he wanted to know, Joe, they didn't sell Jim.
Here we go.
McMahon costumes. Jim McMahon costumes.
I know who this is. He's a smart ass. Hey Shane, how tall were you when you were this age? Were you like 6'4" at this time? So they probably didn't make anything in your size either. Or you were like 5'2" when you were this age. What was it?
Ouch. See, so he's a big dude.
Shane's tall. He's like 6'5" I think, of something like that. He's like 6'5". He's a tall guy. He's a very sarcastic SOB too, but he's my friend, but that's all right.
The funny thing about that though too is that a Jim McMahon costume would be easy to do as a homemade costume. All you would really need is the jersey, but you just find the right shades and like the right piece of gum to chew on for 3 hours, and
So Shane says he's 6'7".
He's not 6'7" now. He's some bullshit. You don't get taller when you get older, Shane. You fucking shrink when you get older.
But I got to tell you, like, I remember, like, I say we were poor, and I shouldn't really say we were poor. We were, the middle class family when there was a legitimate middle class. And so my parents were just like, we're going to make your costumes. Like, maybe we got the Dracula, like, little cape, but everything else was like face paint and the fake teeth and shit.
Way
like
younger
that.
than me. Oh, Shane started this shit already. Way younger than you. He's not that much younger. Don't let him fool you.
But I remember one year. I went one year. I went as a dead football player. So I got my practice jersey out from football and just painted myself as a dead person. We got creative. I think that's the one. You know what? I think that's the one thing that a lot of kids miss nowadays, because every kid, like, it's like, you're not the cool parent. You're not a good, like, I don't want to say you're not a good parent, but kids view your parenting ability now is how much money can you spend on my costume. Like we went costume shopping, and this is crazy for me because I'm not a big, like, I like to spend money, but I want to spend money like on things that are more worth it, so to say. And spending money on costumes, that doesn't always, I don't see the point in it, because like they wear them one time, especially my age kids, they wear them one time and then they're like grow out of them, and there's nobody to donate them to. So they just kind of, maybe they get used as play, like dress up stuff, but usually not, like, because they don't remember to wear them ever again. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, Lucas is going as a gladiator, Abby's going as Little Red Riding Hood, and those costumes were like $30 and $40 a piece. It's like crazy. So
yeah,
just
we unfortunately, well, I can't say all of it. Several of Nico's costumes we bought, some of them we kind of made in regards to that, but he's actually grown out of it since we moved down here. We got him a Harry Potter costume.
Mm-hmm.
And down here they have a lot of greenway walkways, bikeways and whatnot, so the park behind our apartment complex has one. So like through the park, they did it through the greenway all the way around. It was kind of like a path thing, and there was always people set up. He did that when we moved down here, but after that, like, he has no interest in trick or treat or anything like that. Not what Shane posting, because I hear the beeps in my ear.
He said, "Yeah, you're a wizard, Ari."
I was 5'2" at 9. Let's move on. But yeah, costumes.
This guy, I like this guy, Shane. You got to comment more often and come join us more often there, Shane. We're enjoying your commentary.
He's sarcastic, smart ass.
That sounds like our kind of guy.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
All right. So we have quite a few things to talk about today.
Oh, man.
Mount Rushmore. You got to stay tuned. You know, if you're joining us, and you want to catch what the Mount Rushmore is going to be, you got to stay to the end, because that's always the last thing before we call it a night. But we do have some
a day night.
You know, maybe we're doing a day night thing. I don't know. But anyways,
we're calling it a night. Okay, I guess.
Hey, I mean, we got people over in other countries that follow us. So hey, I mean,
could be a day right there instead of the night.
You know, definitely.
But we're talking about our all-time, like, starting 5 and 6 man award for our favorite basketball team. So, you know, we'll be talking about that today. We got other sports topics. We got some wrestling that we're going to talk about, which I was trying to keep up with wrestling now, and I just did not have a chance this week to watch any wrestling. So, because I'm lucky enough to have Hulu, so Hulu does run the short programs, but I ran out of time every day, like, to be able to watch any wrestling and keep up with that, because I want to try and keep up with it. But, you know, easier said than done sometimes.
Hulu's nice for the short versions. Believe me, it's definitely nice to have that for the short version.
Yeah. So
I don't have to watch the long drawn out shit.
It's still impossible to watch Raw, though.
Raw is still unwatchable, huh? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying with Raw right now. We'll see.
I mean,
we'll see.
There was parts of the show this week that were okay, but most of it wasn't.
All right, so football. Let's just talk some football real quick. Nothing interesting happened.
Our teams all suck.
Yes, you're watching a show where every single one of us has a team that blows. They are terrible. It's just you know, if we could say it anyway, we could say it like this.
Lose. Good day, sir.
That sums up our teams. And can you
That's
guys
funny.
hear? I gotta ask because I was messing with all these sound bites. Can you guys hear these better now?
Yeah, I can hear him better today.
All
Yeah,
right, good,
definitely
good.
so.
Yeah, I mess with the sound a lot on these to get them like to peak performance. Oh, Shane's a Broncos fan. He's right there with you, AJ.
Yeah, they're talking about trading Von Miller. I woke up to that today. They said Von Miller might be on the trade block. I'm like, fantastic.
That doesn't sound like a good idea. Like unless he's continuously injured all the time now. Like if
Well,
he's
his
injury
contract,
prone.
I think it's a con. I think he can. He's a free agent.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's a combination of contract injuries and age. You know, the
They're
whole
gonna
like
start
dealing to get something for him concept. You know,
Yeah.
like
So,
like the Giants should be trading Evan Engram, even though they're not going to get a lot for him. It's just a matter of getting something for him, and like they should have traded Jabril Peppers until Peppers got hurt last week. So, because those are guys who I don't think are long-term fits for the Giants at this point anyway. So, Giants, you know, even though they're showing some signs of life again here, it's basically at the point where, nice job, Penn State. They should be, really trading anything that they don't think will be there long-term. You know?
So watching the Eagles last week was painful, as it's starting to become every week is becoming painful to watch them because they look like they might actually do something. They scored on their first possession of the game. They're like, woohoo, we scored. I'm like, all right, this could be a better week. And then they turned into the same old Eagles that they are and just like couldn't put more than 3 or 4 plays together. We're not getting any yardage. Defense let the team essentially walk down the field and score every time they had the damn ball. It was really pathetic to watch. And the only time they started getting yards is when the other team like plays their, zone defense, nickel cover,
Yeah.
don't let anything get deep, let them throw all the underneath stuff. And it was bad. So, it's funny you hear on the local radio stations, they talk about, how good, Hurts stats are. But it's just his stats are inflated because his stats look good or better than some of the other quarterbacks out there that are struggling right now because he gets all these garbage stats in the late third and the fourth quarter, which that's, if the game was close and, because the other teams were just that bad or the Eagles defense was that good, his stats would be 10 times, like they would be half of what they actually are. So who knows what's going to happen with the Eagles, but I'm really scared because they play the Lions this weekend. They play the Lions tomorrow. And I don't know because I feel like the Lions have played teams tough. I heard one of the announcers say, yeah, I'm tired of hearing them say about the Lions play teams tough. The Lions are still 0-7. Yeah, but if they're playing better teams than the Eagles tough, then who's to say that they can't beat the Eagles because the Eagles are that bad?
Expect Detroit to get their first win tomorrow, everybody.
I know. I'm really expecting
you guys had to put Sanders on the IL, and you promoted Jordan Howard from the practice squad today, I think, or yesterday.
Well, yeah, because freaking Miles Sanders is still injured, so
Yeah,
I think
on
it's
the IL now, so he's.
I think the Lions are going to be like. Nice.
There's not a lot. There's just not a lot. Like Denver plays Washington, so they have a chance to win tomorrow. But there's just not a lot to find good. I'm not picking on Joe's team, but Tampa smoked them. Like I was watching that game at a restaurant.
Yeah, that was bad.
Like Jesus.
That's what I expected. I wasn't expecting anything from that game.
No, I'm just saying it's like it's hard to like find something positive. Like the Broncos have lost 4 games in a row. It's just hard to find something positive in all this. So
I have a feeling Eagles fans are going to be like this after tomorrow, if the Lions do win.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Actually, there was a lady in the store yesterday in my store with the Eagles hoodie on. So,
Did she cry? Was she crying the whole time that she was wearing it?
she's from around here too.
Oh.
So like
Yeah, Shane said there's nothing positive about the Broncos right now.
There's not. They lost to the Clowns with half their roster. Like half the Clowns guys didn't even play, and they couldn't even win the game.
I know, because you had Kareem Hunt and why can't
Chubb and
Chubb. Both of those guys were out.
And dipshit Mayfield didn't play either. So
yeah. So it's like, geez.
Well, I'm happy. You know, Nagy's on the COVID list, so he won't be coaching tomorrow. So I'm ecstatic. That doesn't mean a win, but hey, I'll take it.
We did get a good Aaron Rodgers meme from the other night when his fucking chin strap was like around his nose.
Yeah, I'm baffled by that game. Now, I didn't get to see the game because it was on a Thursday, so I don't usually, go hang out with my brother or my dad on a Thursday to watch football, because unless it's my team playing or his team playing, I don't really care too much. But I'm just surprised. Like, I was baffled that Arizona, like, just lost. I don't want to say choke, because they put up points. It's not like they didn't put up any points, but the fact that they weren't able to pull it out, like,
they were losing most of the game, though. They usually weren't bad. They were losing.
Yeah, they were.
That's so.
They were getting outplayed for a while. Hopkins went down. He didn't play for a long time, and then he was like randomly inserting himself into the game when he wasn't supposed to. Just because I get it, he wants to be on the field, but I don't know. They made Green Bay look better than what they are. But
well, yeah, because you're talking about a Green Bay defense it's good, but it's not that great. Like, it's not like a shutdown defense. They don't have shutdown corners. They have a decent line and a decent linebacker core.
They play good team D. That's the only thing that's helping them right now.
Yeah, so it's just like I just couldn't believe it, especially with the way Arizona's offense has been playing and the fact of how good their defense has been playing over the last over this entire season. They gave up 24 points, and the way they did, I was just like, damn, like that's nuts to me. And the funny thing is that the Eagles traded Zach Ertz to Arizona, and on his first game with Arizona last week, not this Thursday, but on Sunday, doesn't he catch a pass and then get yards after catch?
He did it in the Arizona game too. He caught like a 13-yard out route, and they like went up the field.
Yeah, he couldn't do that in Philly because they threw the ball not in stride. They threw the ball either behind him or he had to stop his run, like, all the time. That was always Zach Ertz, like, oh man, this guy can't get any yards. No, it wasn't that. They threw the ball to the worst fucking spot for this guy to try and catch it, and there was always somebody right next to him. Like, never an open spot for him to catch the ball. So everybody that was like, oh, it's not that big a deal that we lost Zach Ertz. Actually, it's probably a big fucking deal because he actually can still play this game at a very high level, and he's already showing that in Arizona because Arizona knows how to get him open properly.
Well, I thought the whole thing was I don't remember what I was going to say, but I just remember it seemed like they were talking about that being like a long time coming, that they were going to trade him.
It was. Yeah, they were trying to trade him. They were trying to trade him at the end of last season already. They knew that he was going to be. They wanted to get rid of him, which I still, like I said, I still didn't understand that because of the type. How good of a player he still was, what he brings to your offense, what your offense is still lacking. Why would you take that away from your team? Pretty much what a lot of people are saying right now, a lot of the sports analysts on local radio and stuff like that, is essentially this team they're starting to look like it's a purpose, a set in motion to be a purposeful tank season. Like, we purposely brought in a coach that is underqualified. We gave him essentially a rookie quarterback. We've given him little to no opportunity to succeed because what he has as far as the rest of his players are subpar players for the most part. He just doesn't have what he needs to succeed. And from what I'm seeing from this guy, and I don't want to say he's not. He looks like he's not qualified. Doesn't seem to be calling plays like he could, coming up with schemes that would work. Because I've seen no progression in Hurts at this point in time in his ability to play the game. I've seen there's no adjustments that are ever made. He just runs what he runs, and that's it. And you know, he's not learning. The coach is not even learning week to week how the hell to play this game. Like, this is not a learn on the job type of thing. Like, you can't take a whole season to say, oh, well, I learned how to call a game in, a whole season. Nope. Now you're fired. Like, that's not the way the NFL works. Like, you either got to get it together within the first couple of weeks or plan on being fired real quick.
Wish my team would fire their coach.
I don't know if I agree with that. The reason I'm saying that is because the Giants have fired 2 consecutive head coaches after basically 2 seasons. McAdoo and Sherwood.
Yeah.
It hasn't done the organization any good.
Right.
There's talk about how good Judge has really done in his season and a half so far. There are things that definitely annoy me about. I think he's been a little too conservative sometimes with like going for it on 4th down a couple times where they had opportunities, things of that sort. But let's say they go 5-12 this year, which is, a very real possibility that they'll be that or worse. I don't know that firing the head coach is going to help this franchise, to be looking for another new head coach next season,
Right.
And the reason I'm saying that, now I don't know about the Eagles situation so much. I haven't read, enough, but like the players seem to like Judge. The players seem to respond to the way Judge coaches. So, at some point, hey, it is on the players. Of course, it's so much easier to fire the coach than the players, even in football. But, I think like what I'm just saying, basically saying is that, the Eagles roster has a lot of obvious holes.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking at, is Hurts the quarterback of the future, much in the same way the Giants are still trying to figure that out with Jones. And Jones is starting to show some signs where I'm starting to get more confident that I think, yeah, he could be. I don't know if Hurts really has enough weapons. I mean, injuries hurt. But again, like they have a lot of holes. They're looking at, they could have 3 first-round picks next year, I think, because through trades and everything. So obviously, if you've got 3 first-round picks, that's like, hey, you need to hit home runs really and everything. But it could just be a thing where it's like, we're building talent around, and again, you talk about he looks like he doesn't really know what he's doing as like a head coach or anything. Again, he is a rookie head coach, so you have to take that into effect. And you would want to think, as the Penn State tight end drops a pass, you would want to think that when the Eagles hire this guy as a head coach, they know that he's a rookie head coach. They know he's going to take a little bit of time to grow into the role in some way, shape, or form and everything. And, that they're not expecting him to go out and win the division year one and everything. I don't really think they could have had that expectation. So I think they can afford to be a little patient. I mean, yes, you're very right in that there seems to be a much more urgency. Like you can't let a 5-year rebuilding project happen anymore. It's like if you can't turn it around within 3 years, then yeah, you're out the door or whatever. But look at Cincinnati, for example. They were pretty putrid the last 2 years with Zach Taylor as a coach. Things seem to have fallen in place for them pretty well so far this year. So sometimes that, patience can be a virtue. But
Burrow's healthy, and I think Burrow's a good quarterback too.
Right. Obviously that helps, and they got him a big time weapon, obviously, in Chase, who's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, I guess. But sometimes again you do just have to you do actually have to be a little patient. Of course, it's not something you ever really want to hear. Football, being that it's a season of such small game amounts, especially compared to the other 3 major team sports. Like every game feels like it's so meaningful and everything. So, but yeah, I think the Eagles need to just try to let things calm down. Now, Hurts may not be the answer. The only problem there is that this doesn't really look like a promising quarterback class. So I don't know that drafting somebody, this coming season is really the answer either. So
No.
like the guys who like the guys who were like I saw, and I think I mentioned this before, is like in like the earliest mock drafts, like the guys who are up to the top of the charts, they've all kind of played pretty mediocre this year. So
yeah, Rattler,
Howell, a few others, but so it's like God only knows who like the first quarterback drafted will be next year and how high it'll be. I don't think it'll be, some of the drama we've seen with some quarterback drafts in the past. So
yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
There might be a running back from Michigan State that goes high in the draft after today.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, again, being a Giants fan, and my biggest beef, of course, with the Giants is the way Gettleman's done a lot of things as GM, and I really think that they have, no matter what they end up finishing this year, they have to move on from him and get a new GM, and hopefully he's fine working with Judge and everything, unless Judge does something like just egregiously horrible the rest of the season. But of course, one of Gettleman's legacies with the Giants are going to be taking Barkley at number 2 overall, because unfortunately he's getting hurt now. He got the ACL injury last year, and now he's dealing with ankle stuff and everything this year, and coming back from the ACL as well. So, and you see some of the other like Christian McCaffrey too. He was drafted in the top 10. You're seeing why it's so risky to draft a running back so high, because it's the league's changed. You don't have Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, those kind of 400 carry backs anymore. Because the way that the game's more vertical for one, and just, again, just in general, it's just, a thing. So people have said, and of course, there's the benefit of 2020 hindsight. Oh, the Giants could have drafted Josh Allen in number 2 that year, and then they could have taken Nick Chubb in the second round. And how much better would they be if they had done that rather than taking Barkley and everything?
Yeah, but it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot when you're talking about draft picks.
Right. And again, that's perfect 2020 hindsight, the way that Allen is developed as a quarterback and the way Chubb has played, and I think stayed relatively healthy and everything. But it does bring the point where it's like you just don't spend a high draft pick on a running back anymore.
That running back for Michigan State's kind of came out of nowhere. I think that's more.
What did he do? I didn't see any college stuff today.
Oh, he had 5 touchdowns and 190 yards, and Michigan completely melted down in that game today. So
Michigan was up 16 points in the
third quarter, mid third quarter.
Yeah, about halfway through the third quarter, Michigan, and it was right about the time that my dad and I were going into a movie. I think that's why I saw the score, and I just figured out Michigan's got this in the bag then, because I think they had just scored to go up 16 points, and then I get the note by the time the movie's over, I'm looking at a notification on my phone that says Walker's 5 touchdowns leading Sparty past Michigan, and I'm like, so
nice.
I wanted to believe that Michigan can beat the Buckeyes. That's the only reason I would just wanted to believe that Michigan has a chance against Ohio State this year, because somebody else has to beat them. So, and Sparty, the Sparty game's in Columbus, so.
Penn State's playing Ohio State tough enough right now that, Ohio State might have just gone up 10 points. That I would still think Michigan could probably still at least play with them. I mean, Ohio State hasn't looked overly impressive in this game, and they've only scored 13 points on offense.
So we could say
Penn State does have a good defense, but they're hurting right now in a lot of ways.
So by the end of that game, Michigan was possibly saying something of this sorts to the running back from Michigan State.
You're a monster.
He was.
And he played like a beast, though.
At what point is Harbaugh? If Harbaugh doesn't beat the Buckeyes this year, he has to be on the hot seat at that point, right?
This is okay. So Harbaugh,
I don't know.
Can't beat the Buckeyes, and he has problems with Sparty.
Okay,
too.
I got to look something up, because this has been driving me nuts with Jim Harbaugh. Okay, I mean,
if he doesn't beat the Buckeyes this year, I feel like you have to go another direction. You can't lose the Buckeyes every year and just say, oh, we're good.
Oh yes, you can.
But at some point, you have to be able to say, all right, we may need to go a different direction, because this guy clearly can't beat the Buckeyes.
Okay, so right now Michigan's 4-1. Let's see. Let's look at last season. They were.
Well, last season was a weird season, so I don't know how much.
That's only
COVID.
2-4. That doesn't really count. That's
a COVID season too. So
Yeah,
6-3 before that.
They have been kind of relentlessly disappointing since he's been there.
Yes.
So and that's what I was wondering. Like I can't, like they're having winning seasons, but they're not like, they're not getting high ranks or anything like that. I don't even know if they're ranked in the top 25 most. They're not winning the Big Ten. So here's the thing. So Jim Harbaugh, and I loved him as a Colt. I loved Mr. Captain Comeback as a Colt. Like that was like the introduction to the Colts, and through that and Super Tecmo Bowl, because you could use him and drop all the way back and throw it to the fucking end zone. It was great. I don't know how I could do that, but anyways, as a coach for Michigan, like this guy goes, he leaves the NFL, goes to college. It's like you felt like Michigan was getting like God sent to football, as like all the talk that was around Jim Harbaugh when he was going to Michigan. You're like, oh my God, he's going to be the greatest thing, since whatever coach, of the coaches, and Michigan's going to be the greatest team to ever step foot on the football field now. And
they said he was going to save the program from mediocrity.
Yeah, and it's still mediocre for the most part. It's not great.
I mean, he only has one losing season at Michigan.
Yeah, but if you're not winning, if you're not contending, so to say, for the Big Ten title or getting into high-ranked bowl games, then in the college world, especially when you're talking big schools like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Florida State, any of those schools, okay? And at least this is the way I understand it. Anybody can that. You guys know, some of you guys know much more about college. Well, all know more about college football than I do. But anyways, it's hard for me to understand how this guy got so much money and is essentially, when you look at the way college football looks at records and everything like that, the whole enchilada, he has not lived up to the hype. He has not lived up to being the kind of head coach he should be based on what he was thought to be.
So I'm sorry, I just watched Ohio State marching band trolled Michigan during halftime. Fabulous. As much as I hate the Buckeyes, they did Michigan, they put the Michigan symbol and put it in a fucking garbage can. That is hilarious when the band does that. If you can find a clip of it, it's like they take the Michigan symbol and put it in a fucking big garbage can. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's interesting. They're trolling ahead of time, aren't they? They definitely are. So Jim Harbaugh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, every once in a while these clips show up of these bands trolling other bands, and it's pretty amusing when it happens. Usually, it's pretty amusing.
Jim Harbaugh only has 3 bowl game wins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's 3 and 5. Yeah, he's 1-4 with Michigan.
Right. This is what I was just about to mention. Like after you said, like he's only had one losing season, which was last year, which is very much an asterisk year. But since he's been back at Michigan, 1-4 bowl record. They've only finished in the top 10 once, and kind of more importantly, and this goes to what Jeremy was saying. This has been their final finish in the Big East, the Big Ten Eastern Division. Third, fourth, tied for first, third, tied for fifth, which was last year. So
I just sent that the troll video. I sent it to all you guys. The video of marching band.
So I mean, again, it's just not been. It hasn't been like any season has really ever felt, I'm sure, fulfilling for a Michigan fan. I mean, again, the best record he's had in any season, then including the bowl game, is 10-3. I mean, they're 7-1 right now after today's loss, but again, I'm sure
he's 0 whatever against the Buckeyes, and I don't know if he's only beat Sparty once or he's not winning at Sparty either.
Yeah, but I'm sure at this point, Michigan, after today's loss, especially, Michigan fans are probably getting a sense of like deja vu, like, oh, here we go again. We're going to limp to the finish. It's going to be another disappointing. We're going to lose to Ohio State. Blah 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 blah. So I'm just
all right.
I'm sure Michigan fans are not in celebratory mood of any kind at this point.
Listen, he can come coach in Illinois and give us that shit every year. 10-3, 10-3, 8-5, and I'd be ecstatic.
Right, but you're talking about a matter of program expectations. Michigan has always been a program that expects to be.
I know.
Top of the heap.
I'm just saying. I'd be ecstatic with
We
that.
can go ahead and play it, Jeremy. We can watch it while we're
Yeah,
talking.
I want to play
I'd be
this so all our viewers here. This ought to be interesting.
Like I said, I hate the Buckeyes.
Come on.
Kermit the Frog.
I didn't listen.
You must love Kermit the Frog in Ohio State.
Hey, we'll turn off the volume. We don't need the
Yeah.
volume for this shit.
It's funny. I was trying to figure out what they were
Maximize the
doing.
video, though.
Okay,
I was trying to
okay.
figure out- I was trying to figure out what they were
There you go.
doing. So this is hilarious. Like, look, they're gonna
He got the
Michigan
person
thing.
walking.
They're gonna pick the Michigan thing and put it in a fucking garbage can.
Nice.
Wow, that's classic.
And you know what,
This is
And it's
okay.
actually gonna like open the lid. That is fucking.
Okay, before we go any
Oscar
further,
there?
this is what I love about
Oscar
college
Trap.
marching
Yes.
bands. All this fucking shit that they can do, like choreograph, like that. This is awesome. Okay, let's finish this
now here's the thing too. This was
with Oscar
obviously-
the Grouch in it.
This was obviously pre-planned. Like they, of
Right.
course,
That's the crazy thing. That
Yeah.
it's not like they just threw this together today.
right. Because having been somebody who did marching band for 5 years, you know, it's very to write a marching band drill, especially with that many people, it's very complicated and everything.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I fully agree with you. I hate Ohio State too, of course, but that is fucking brilliant.
And I remember
That is the only time I will ever give Ohio State props for anything.
I
was
remember
just
like
that.
probably 3 years ago, Clemson beat the Buckeyes in like one of the playoff games, and like the next year, the band did 34-0. Like that was the score of the game. They did 34-0 and trolled the Buckeyes. So
Nice. That's awesome.
So he's that was
we all
classic.
gave them credit. This will be the only time that ever happens, but that's funny.
Yes.
That's really funny.
And with that said, I think we can move on out of football, out of
Yeah.
NFL, out of college, and move on to some wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I figured we would do wrestling at the time because that's what Mount Rushmore is related to that.
Oh, who cares at this point?
We're going to
Just do
talk.
it. Just do it. Just do it, damn it.
I mean, we don't have to talk about wrestling. I just figured we want to get some wrestling up.
We
out there.
can, but I just figured we were going to do it at the end since that's Mount Rushmore related. So I just figured we would do all that.
I haven't paid a tremendous amount of attention to wrestling over the last couple of weeks, but I've still been trying to, you know, of course, keep up the results. I haven't really watched any except for watching the old stuff.
We could do our basketball lineup if you want to do
We
that.
could. You know what? Let's switch it up then. Let's throw it into some basketball. Okay, we'll do
Look at
that.
that
We'll throw it into
sneeze.
Alrighty then.
we'll throw it into some basketball.
I like that. I like
I gotta
that.
go.
That was good.
I'll be back in a second. I got to go say goodnight.
Oh, he's got to say goodnight. Make sure you kiss her on the lips.
No one said which ones, but just say it.
Oh. I don't want to. Kind of. Nah, I don't. Because she said, "Uh-oh." That could be either good or bad. I don't know. I'm hoping it's good.
Oh man,
Oh.
that was good. That was good.
You're sick. Freak.
Yummy.
Yes, I am. I admit
I,
it. I will not shy away.
I reiterate my.
She
my-
said
my-
you're just jealous because you guys don't get kisses. Pat definitely.
Well,
Well, I don't know. My sister.
I'll go get my dog. Hold on.
My sister's dog was quite happy to see me today. So
We're gonna. I'm not even going there, Pat. You just said something about a dog being happy. I'm not to see you. I'm not. Even, where was
All
the
right.
peanut butter?
So since we're gonna do our NBA thing, I feel it's only right to play this little soundbite right now. All right.
See, it was classic. I miss that soundbite being an everyday thing.
Yeah, I know. Damn Sports Center. Boo. All right. So who wants to go first?
Fuck everything up.
Well, actually, Joe, why don't you introduce this exactly what it is we're doing?
Yeah, ESPN made Sports Center unwatchable. So, yep.
Well, it happens.
So good old Joe came up with this. Well, I don't want to say came up with this idea. Evidently found this somewhere, but I'll let him introduce it.
I just a lot of places. It's the NBA season. Bleach Report, I think, did it. And there's some other sports websites I follow that were just doing it for all the NBA teams. What's your top 5 starting lineup for each team of all time, and then selecting a 6th man to come off the bench. So I just wanted to throw it at you guys and see what you guys decided to pick for your lovely teams that you root for.
I mean, I could have just done one for the whole NBA since Jeremy apparently thinks I like every fucking team. So
hey, I'm not the only one that thinks that, you bastard. I'm just kidding. You just have a lot of favorite players.
I do.
Got a lot of favorite players.
I realize that this is the one sport where I'm not really. It's more about players. Mm-hmm. It's always been more about players for me than it has been, and it's. I'm not taking pot shots at any of you guys on here, but I also can't help it that the college program I like puts players in the NBA regularly, and they're all over the place. There's Kentucky guys on almost every team in the NBA, and I'm not going to be the only ones I can't root for if they play for the Lakers or the Cavs. Those are the two I can't do anything with.
Yeah, and for me, I don't have a college basketball team that I really care about, so it's like, whatever, I like to root for the underdog when it comes to the tournament, like see who can beat the 15 or the 16 seeds and like get to the maybe 3 rounds in, which doesn't happen too often. Like when Lehigh was in, then I was like kind of excited, because Lehigh's our local college.
Wow, and Lehigh beat Duke, so they got
I know
they beat fucking Puke. So
yes, and CJ McCollum became a star and had a pretty decent NBA career. So.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I just like to add, my college team regularly puts players in the NBA too.
They just aren't good.
It's just that it's just that most of them seem to be out of the league after about 3 years.
Okay, well, yours.
I like me some Tar Heels.
You put it in the nice way. I put it in the not nice way. So,
well, that's because you are a prick extraordinaire.
That's right.
So if anybody's wondering like what college teams these two goons like, we got one guy who likes Kentucky and the other guy who likes the Tar Heels. So I didn't even want to utter those words. The only reason I can even utter those is because that's where Jordan played, but that's like the only reason.
And Pat, that's all you got to say every time. You want to make fun of my school? Fine. Michael Jordan. Mic drop. Walk away, bitches.
Right, but it's not like Pat watching him play there. So to me, that doesn't count as much. So
yeah, none of us probably watched.
Well, just because he's a couple years younger, right?
No, but you didn't watch him. I remember watching him play there. So I feel like you can't use him as a catalyst if you didn't even see him play there.
Yeah, and I'm not one of these guys who's a Carolina fan because Jordan went there either.
No, you're not.
So, quick question for you, though, AJ.
That one.
What team did you end up going with out of your teams that you...
What shirt am I wearing?
Okay, well...
no, we can't see.
I can see it says Warriors. It said Warriors.
I had a feeling it was either going to be Golden State or San Antonio.
I see a shirt that says Rio.
Boston.
Rio.
I grew up a Celtics fan, so that probably would have been the other...
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were going to go Celtics or Warriors because I know you're really more of a Warriors fan than anything anymore.
I figured you were going to go Celtics. But...
Yeah, it's more Steph now. It's because he's my favorite player and he's my favorite player of all time. So he's not. Bird was my favorite player of all time until Curry came.
I was going to say I didn't realize that Curry had passed Bird for you, but okay.
Oh yeah, he has. He's my favorite player of all time. Like no doubt about it.
Curry's a little spicy.
He's saucy on the court.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
I said Curry's a little spicy. I love a good
That's
dad
funny.
joke or a really bad pun. I don't know which
Well,
one you
they're
want to correct.
funny.
As my favorite culinary personality would say, get out.
Nope, Blackhawks lost again.
Oh,
Fudge.
fantastic! I hear the Flyers are doing well. We'll see how long that lasts.
Well, the
All right.
the Blackhawks are paying the price for that scandal. So yeah.
So I want Joe to go first because he's wearing his basketball team, his favorite basketball team, and I know one of the people that's going to be on there. So I'm interested to hear who his other five.
I
people
know
are.
I know at least 2 people that are going to be on.
I know at least two too, but I know one for sure. So I want to see if he's going to put the other one on there. I'm pretty sure he's going to put him on there, but
I think I know
because it's
at
hard
least
not
three
to.
I think I know at least 3 people who will be on Joe's list.
So I would like Joe to start this off. Go ahead, Joe.
La 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 la. Get my voice turned up. Okay. This wasn't hard for me, to be honest. Well, actually, my 6th man was kind of hard, so it was a toss-up between 2 guys for the 6th man spot. So starting point guard would be Derrick Rose. Shooting guard. Shooting guard. I mean, who else you could pick? The GOAT. Small forward, Sky Pippen. Power forward would be Rodman. My center would be Artis Gilmore. And my 6th man, I was tossed up between Jerry Sloan and Bob Love, and I went with Jerry Sloan.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
That's all scored in defense. That's all I need.
All right. Does anybody else want to go, or should I just go? I'm ready.
Go ahead and go, Jeremy.
All right, I'm ready. Okay. So this was actually really tough for me. And I'll be honest, this was really tough. Because trying to figure out a 6 man, I was like, who the fuck do I pick as a 6 man? Like, when you look at the Sixers and you look at just their history, like most of their guys that were really good, that were household names, that had the all-stars, they were pretty much big men. Not a lot of guards and shooting guards and shit like that. So I went with my point guard, Allen Iverson, shooting guard of Seth Curry, because he's like the only true shooting guard they've ever had, like true shooting guard. Small forward, Julius Erving. Power forward, Charles Barkley. And I almost didn't want to put this person at center, but I was like, I looked at the stats, and I was like, even though they always claim that he was a Laker, that's fucking bullshit, because he was a Sixer first, and he had his prime of his career as a Sixer, and I was Wilt to Stilt Chamberlain, so he was my center. Now, this is where it got fucking hard, because the 6 man, people will probably like, you should have picked this guy. And I'll be like, well, if you look at overall stats and like what they did, it was hard to pick that person. So I ultimately went with Moses Malone as my 6 man.
Oh, I was going to say, I was waiting for you to say like Jerry Stackhouse. Or
no, oh my God, no. No.
I think
I would have been like, no.
Either him or maybe Billy Cunningham. Another one.
I was looking at him and also Mo Cheeks. Like that was the only but Mo Cheeks, like if I'm gonna have somebody coming off the bench, I need somebody that's gonna be able to play defense, and I needed somebody that's gonna be an offensive threat too.
No, that's good.
And Mo Cheeks he just didn't have the offensive threat. Moses Malone was more of an offensive threat. So, like I said, it was tough, but I had to break down some stats and see who was better at what. So, like I said, a lot of Sixers big men were their main scorers. So, it was interesting to go through that and see that the Sixers, when I honestly say they've never had like a real true shooting guard, Seth Curry is like their true shooting guard. JJ Redick was another one, but he wasn't there long enough to put up the stats. You know, he was there, I think, 2 seasons, maybe a third. It's hard to say because he was gone really quick. It felt like he was gone really quick. So
that's a good lineup, though.
Yeah, I think so.
That's good.
It's a good lineup.
All right,
Sir Patrick.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear Darth Pats.
This isn't as easy for me because for a few reasons. One, the NBA really kind of always been the sport that I've been like, least knowledgeable of in a lot of ways. And there's also the slight problem of, last 20 years, my franchise has been just, a fountain of suctitude. So it's like, why would you even want to honor anybody who played for the franchise in that time frame? But, hey, you got to do what you got to do. So I did have to, go back though, because there's some guys you just can't ignore, from like the times before me. So, and starting off with that, the point guard, of course, is, Clyde Walt Frazier. So, he has to be point guard for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Shooting guard, Earl Monroe, I felt like, he could have been a good choice. But in this one, I went with a guy who actually played during my lifetime. And of course, that would be not John Starks.
Thank God.
Allen Houston.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's a good choice with that one.
Good job. That's who I would have picked.
Yeah, small forward. This was definitely the hardest one because I don't feel like the Knicks have ever really had a great small forward. So because of really what I felt was, like lack of options and every other damn thing, ended up going with Melo because it just a lot of ways don't know who the hell else to pick. I mean, Larry Johnson, I felt was better as a Hornet than a Knick. So,
Yeah, you got Larry Johnson at the end of his career.
Yeah, and he just wasn't like the elite player that he was like when he first came out of college and everything. So he was kind of more of a complimentary player at that point. Not that he was bad, just power forward. I felt like I could have gone one way here, but I didn't, and I'll tell you why in a second. So power forward, I went with a guy who I know is always going to grab me the rebounds, and that's Charles Oakley. Now that's, of course, if they'll let him in the building to play.
Might need to pick a different New York stadium.
Yeah, there's always that issue. We may have to have the Knicks go play at Barclays Center for a while or something. I don't know. And the center, obviously, Patrick Ewing. So now for my sixth man, I also again had the issue of you would think you would pick him maybe somebody who's like more of like a shooter type or everything. But again, I wasn't going to take Starks or some like the older, guys that I barely have knowledge of. I mean, Willis Reed, of course, was one of the greatest Knicks that there were.
Mm-hmm.
But, he was mostly a center. Like, you go to a Basketball Reference, it shows that he was a power forward, but for only 3 of his, 10 seasons or whatever. So I didn't feel like it was right to pick him as a power forward because of that. But I'll slide him in as my sixth man then because he's still a guy where obviously he was a pretty dominant player. So it's pretty hard to leave him off the team. So
I was wondering if you were going to pick Latrell Sprewell at all.
Ooh, that would have been interesting.
He was better when he played for the Warriors, though.
Yeah, it's like I suppose you could have slotted him in at small forward, but he was always more of a. I always felt he was really more of a shooting guard than a small forward, and
he wasn't predominantly a shooting guard because he made first team All NBA one of the years Jordan didn't play. So he was the person that won that slot when Jordan was out those 2 years. Latrell Sprewell was actually the first team All NBA shooting guard one of those years.
Yeah, and
nice.
like AJ said, I did also feel he was better at Golden State than he was with the Knicks,
and maybe even with the Timberwolves. He might have even been better. He was pretty solid all the places he played. So
yeah, he was.
He just didn't like PJ Carlesimo. So
I was gonna say just as long as PJ Carlesimo wasn't around.
All right, AJ, let's hear your Golden State Warriors picks.
Mine's easy because when Durant was there, they had the death lineup, and that's the best starting lineup I've ever seen in my lifetime. So it's easy. So it's Steph, Clay, Draymond, Durant, and Iguodala.
Okay.
So that's they called that the death lineup when Durant was there those 2 years, and that's the best starting 5 I've ever seen. So
okay.
And then Chris Mullin would be my 6th man.
Nice. Throwing it back to Chris Mullin. I love it.
It was either going to be Tim Hardaway or Chris Mullin. So.
Oof. Oh, yeah, that would have been a toss-up for me. Hardaway or Mullin.
Mullin had a better career in Golden State, I think. So Mullin was on that 75 player list. Hardaway wasn't. So.
I would have found it hard to leave Mullin off my starting 5, but I obviously see why you did. So.
I mean, like I said, it was easy because that lineup, that's what they called that lineup when it was there. So they played small. Draymond played center, but
which is funny because Kevin Durant is definitely bigger than Draymond Green as far as height goes.
Taller wingspan, yeah.
So it's just.
But I would never put Durant at center. That dude, I feel like that dude, if he went up against a true center, would like be pancaked on the fucking ground every play.
It's the only time in his career though he ever really played defense was when he played for the Warriors. Like, he bought in to the system and he actually was a pretty good defensive player there. He hasn't really been a great defensive player before he got there or now. He kind of bought into it. He played in a system where defense mattered. He played in systems before that where they didn't stress defense. So
that's the thing. Like, so, I just want to say everybody had a great lineup. It was cool to hear that from everybody. But when you look at Golden State, you look at who their coach is. I mean, shit. I mean, he came from the Bulls, and played on that kind of team
and the Spurs,
the Spurs, where defense was emphasized as, to win a championship, you got to play defense. Like, you just can't just outscore the other team. It just, buckets aren't the only thing that matters, So
that if Iguodala's iffy to me, I think he's a Hall of Famer. But if he does, I mean, if he gets in, all that starting lineup was all guys that were Hall of Famers, like playing at the same time together.
And I think Iguodala is going to be a hard one. I think he might get in, but I looked at his stats because he was somebody I was throwing around. Like, do I put him on the Sixers one as maybe the sixth man? Like, he was a far reach for a sixth man. But I did look at his stats, but his stats with Golden State, his stats weren't like, as far as points go, like, he didn't put up a ton of points, but the other stuff he did.
Right, he's got 3 rings and he's got a Finals MVP and he's won Sixth Man of the Year multiple times and he's an all defense type guy too. So like he's going to get in because of all the stuff, not because of his point. So
his accolades that go along with the things that happened in Golden State will put him there.
Probably because he's a LeBron. Plus, he was a LeBron stopper. Not a lot of people are on that list either, the LeBron stopper list. Yeah. So he's one of those people that's on that short list.
Yeah, because if you just look at his stats, overall stat-wise, like not just points, but all his stats are about a little above average.
So same with Draymond though. He doesn't score a lot of points either, but he's been Defensive Player of the Year and he's got rings. And it's like, at what point do you not put these guys in? Like, if they're contributing on championship teams regularly, it's like, how can these guys not get in?
Well, that's the same thing with Dennis Rodman. Has Dennis Rodman been? Has he been? I know he's been eligible for it, but has he actually been voted in yet?
To what?
Yeah,
to the Hall of Fame. Okay, I wasn't sure. I kind of figured he probably
Jackson
was.
The guy who inducted him.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he is, but he's another one of those guys. He was never a point scorer. He was only a defensive player. Like, he was rebound machine.
Ben Wallace got in, and Ben Wallace was not really an offensive guy either. So you don't have to have the
and I look at Ben Wallace's career and I go,
he's in.
I know. I just look at his career, and not even from a point wise. I just look at his career as a whole. Yes, he has the NBA championships with Detroit, but I'm just like, his career wasn't anything spectacular. There was nothing to me that really stood out about his career that was anything spectacular.
When Chris Bosh just got in, I looked at Chris Bosh and said, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's another one. He played around. The only reason he has any championships is because he went to Miami. He couldn't lead a team. Like, he was nothing. Once again, even on those Miami teams, he was nothing special on those Miami teams. He was just a big, lanky dude.
I think it's easier. I actually think it's easier to get in the NBA Hall of Fame than it is the other two, personally. I think it's easier. I think that's why I think Iguodala is going to get in, because I think it's easier to get into the NBA Hall of Fame than it is the other two. So.
Yeah, because what's the criteria? To win a championship, you're in? Like,
no. But I just think it's easier. I just think it seems like the people that should be in the NBA one, most of them are in already. Like, it doesn't seem like there's 15 guys like in the NFL, in baseball. It always seems like there's a list of 15 guys who still aren't in, some of those guys should be in. The NBA is not the same way. I don't feel like there's this laundry list of people where we're like, all right, is this person going to get in? I feel like the NBA, most of those people are in already.
Yeah, and maybe there's something to be said about baseball and football, saying maybe your criteria is too strict, or maybe it's basketball. Maybe you're just a little too easy on the guys that deserve the Hall of Fame. It's like, which one is the right one, or does
happy medium, probably finding some middle ground on that one, but
yeah, because I like I said. Ben Wallace fucking surprised the shit out of me and being in the fucking Hall of Fame. And my brother and my one good friend were both Detroit Pistons fans, and they loved Ben Wallace. As far as I know my brother definitely did. I'm pretty sure my buddy did. But I'm just like, but then again, my brother really loved Tayshaun Prince too, and that guy was, just had long ass fucking arms.
He was a really good defensive player too.
Yes.
He wasn't offensive player, but that was that Pistons team.
Yeah, that Pistons team was defense.
It was a team. It wasn't really Chauncey Billups might have been the best scorer on that team, but that was a team. It wasn't about one individual on that team. It was a team winning that championship that year. And I rooted for them that year because nobody wanted the fucking Lakers to win. They were trying to buy championship, go out and get whatever Malone and Gary Payton or whatever on that team trying to win a championship. So fuck that.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
Here you go, Jeremy. This is Ben Wallace's career right here.
Oh boy.
Now, he wasn't a scorer. He averaged 5.7 points a game.
How many?
Is what it is.
Yeah, 5.7. I wonder if that's the lowest points per game average for an NBA for an NBA Hall of Famer.
I'm pretty sure Rodman might have been close.
Rodman.
Yeah, Rodman might have been lower, or very close, or very much the same.
No, I think I just had Rodman's up here real quick. Rodman averaged 7.3.
Okay, all right, he's got
more than him. So Ben Wallace was a 4-time All-Star.
Okay, yeah.
2-time rebounding champion.
Mm-hmm.
1-time blocks champion. 2004 NBA champion. 6-time All-Defensive first team. 5-time All NBA first team, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay,
right there. Those are the three things that got him into the Hall of Fame. Those three things.
That's pretty much it. So Iguodala has 3 NBA titles. He's been an NBA Finals MVP.
Yes,
I remember that Finals. He fucking went off like he was the shit.
1-time All-Star, 1-time All Defensive first team, 1-time All Defensive second team. Rookie of the Year, first team, and he has 2 gold medals.
Yeah, I don't see why he doesn't get in. Based on his finals and finals MVP and stuff like that. Like he hasn't had a lot of...
The Warriors they don't win that finals if they don't. They went small. They lost. They were down 2-1, and they inserted him in the lineup.
I remember.
And that was Steve Kerr. That was the genius. Somebody in that, I don't think it was Kerr. He said it was, I read a book and I think he said it was one of his assistants that said, let's try this. So Kerr didn't even take credit for it. He said it was somebody else's idea. Let's put Iguodala in and see what happens. And they didn't lose a game. And he's a LeBron stopper. And that doesn't mean LeBron scored 5 points, but that means he does a better job against LeBron than other people do. Like LeBron shoots worse against Iguodala than he does against some of the other people in the league. So they won a championship because they put Iguodala in the starting lineup that year.
Mm-hmm.
So
like Gerald Wilkins against Jordan.
Yeah, there were certain players that could just play other players, and Iguodala, like, I'll never say he was the greatest player in the world, and I'm not saying he's not deserving of the Hall of Fame, but there are certain things that he did really well. Like he was a very good defensive player, and like you said.
He was in a perfect situation there because he wasn't the guy that you wanted to be your first, second, or third option to score 20 a game. He didn't have to do that there. He made threes and he scored 10 or 15 points when he had to. He didn't need to. He just wasn't a guy that should be your first or second option.
Yeah, I think he averaged for the Golden State over the seasons that he was there like a maximum like 7 points a game or something like that, and that's fine. They didn't need him to score a lot of points either. Like that wasn't his role. But like you said, in the NBA Finals that year when they put him in and they needed him to guard Jordan and they needed him to do something special, he did it. Like he stepped up.
He made big baskets. He made baskets in all the championships they won. He made big baskets in games when they needed them too.
The problem with him being in the
Let's
Sixers,
put Robert Horry in the Hall of Fame then.
like
Shit.
I mean,
Like-
Robert Horry probably should be in the Hall of Fame. I would say he should be in.
yeah, when you look at
Big shot,
Iguodala
Rob.
and when he was with the Sixers, that wasn't the position he needed to be. He was not
No,
going to be your number one guy. And that's no knock on him. It's just not the kind of player that he is. And the Sixers tried for a long time to make him like the number one man on the team, and like it just wasn't going to work. Like when Iverson retired.
Go look and see what Draymond's points average is, because I read somewhere that he has more rebounds in his career than he has points.
Nice. That's awesome.
Or it might even have been more assists than he has points. It might even have been assists, actually.
Hello, Draymond. Let's go to your stats.
But he's regularly in the discussion every year for best defensive player. Like Draymond won it, and he's in the discussion every year for best defensive player.
So I'm just going to say this one more time to Ben Wallace being in the Hall of Fame.
What?
Yeah, that's
No, I mean he does deserve it based on what we just found out. His accolades are going to get him in.
Well, it's kind of surprised. I was just one more thing about Ben Wallace. I was kind of surprised to see that he didn't even average 10 rebounds a game for his whole career. Like Rodman, rebounds per game for his career. So, he also of course blocked shots and everything. Like you said, 4-time defensive player of the year, but he was never like all NBA first team or anything like that. So. Yeah, and I think also sometimes with Ben Wallace, I think maybe some people kind of say, well, it was a great story because he was a guy who came out of started off at like community college and then went to a Division II school, was never drafted, and then, so ended up having a pretty good career. And you do also wonder if the Pistons hadn't won that title, if he would have gotten it.
he wouldn't have.
Yeah, true. So AJ, last year, Draymond averaged 7 points a game. He averaged 7.1 rebounds per game and 8.9 assists per game.
Rebounds.
He does a little bit of everything.
That's the only season that he's actually averaged more rebounds or assists than he has points per game per any season. But yeah, that's
he played pretty good tonight. So they've been a surprise. I did not think that they were going to jump out of the gates 5 or 6-1, the Warriors. Like I thought they were going to have without Clay, but Steph is Steph. So
Clay's just an added piece this year for this team. They have the rest of the team's built.
The other night
built.
The other night when they lost and Steph didn't score a point in the fourth quarter or overtime, it would have been nice in that situation to have Clay because they would have had somebody else that they could rely on because Steph couldn't hit the broadside of the barn in the fourth quarter the other night. So
yeah, everybody has a rough day at the office. All right, I think it's a good time now to jump into wrestling. What do you think? You guys agree with that?
Sure.
Good time to jump into wrestling. Okay, good.
Sure thing.
All right, good. All right. So, what the hell's been going on in wrestling? AJ.
Well, I don't know. All I did was watch the Dark Side of the Ring about the steroid trials this past week. So.
Ooh, I gotta watch that one. I gotta find that and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, without saying too much about it since you haven't watched. I mean, obviously the big thing is they got Jerry McDevitt, who's the guy who tried the case for WWE and Vince, and has been like their lawyer for forever then since because of that. Yeah, that's great. He was out of bounds.
Jerry McDevitt was out of bounds. What?
Yeah. But like the fact that they got him to sit down and talk for this is pretty astounding because I don't think anybody who's ever actually been directly affiliated with WWE, like at the time when they filmed it, like Bruce Pritchard was in like the first season episodes, but he hadn't been rehired by the company yet at that point, so like he hasn't been there since. So like. I think this is the first time anybody that's like so close to WWE at the time of like when they were filming it, actually like sat down and spoke to them. So that's pretty interesting, for the most part. They also had, they didn't have Hogan, of course, because like he would sit down and talk to them about this. They had B. Brian, but they had B. Brian Blair and the Warlord, which was interesting. And they had like
That is interesting.
Yeah, and Dave Meltzer was on it, and Wade Keller was on it, and the guy from the New York Post who's had a hard on for the company for years was talking about it. But the biggest thing that was most interesting about it was how weak the case was, especially in that they called like all these wrestlers to testify. Like the Warlord was one of the guys who testified, and then they showed like Rick Rude leaving the courtroom, and they showed the Warrior being interviewed after he testified, which I didn't really realize that those guys had testified. And of course, they talk about Hogan's testimony, and they talk about when Nails testified, because Nails was like the only guy who was like ended up really testifying in such a way where it was like a problem, for the company and everything. But they also then found that he was a pretty terrible witness. But it was like they called all these wrestlers to testify, I guess expecting that all of them were going to say, yeah, Vince told me to do steroids, this, and then they didn't say that. And most of them were talking about how they took steroids before they ever came to WWF and everything. And it's like, did these fucking prosecutors not talk to these people before they called them up to the witness stand to know what they were going to fucking say? It's like they call them witnesses or they expect to bolster their case, and then they all trash their case. So it's like, this had to be one of the most incompetent trials, because like they even say, you know how many witnesses the defense called?
None.
0. That's like unheard of, to not call witness in a case. But they destroyed the prosecution's case all on their own. So it's really fascinating to see.
So when Hogan got on the stand, did he just say,
"What you gonna do, brother?"
Is that all he said?
I mean,
"What you gonna do, brother?"
He may have and everything, but and they covered the fact that Hogan went on Arsenio Hall and basically lied about his steroid use, and that was prior to the trial and everything. And they also talked about how Hogan's ultimately wasn't damaging to Vince or anything, but there was still heat between them for a while, and that was mostly because at the time of him testifying, he was about to debut for WCW, so Vince was still talking shit about. They didn't get into that in the special, but I've heard it from other times where Vince talked shit about Hogan after the trial was immediately over, even though Hogan really didn't say anything bad or detrimental to Vince, at least from the trial.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very interesting episode, definitely worth checking out.
If you can find the Naomi last night had one of the best botches I've ever seen. She was outside the ring and she jumped up on the ropes to jump off the ropes and she fucking fell. It was awesome. So I think she's awful. So to see her botch like that was comedy to me last night. I was like, this is the best botch I've ever seen.
Well, it was just since you mentioned botches, I was watching. It was the episode of Nitro right after Uncensored 1997, and it was a match between Rey Mysterio and Psychosis. So you expect that would be a pretty good match, right? Normally. Well, at the end, Mysterio went and did the West Coast pop, and Psychosis didn't totally flip over. He basically went jammed his head right into the fucking mat, and you look at it and it's almost like, how the hell did he not break his fucking neck?
I mean, Lance Archer.
Terrible.
I don't know how Lance Archer didn't get paralyzed a week ago when he did his moonsault and fucking landed on his fucking head.
I didn't see it. I heard about it though.
Yeah, wasn't a great angle, that's for sure.
This wasn't a good week for WWE's women. I mean, they had that girl in NXT a week ago do a suicide dive and face plant. And then Shotzi just did it last night against Charlotte. Her feet got caught on the ropes and she face planted.
Yeah, Charlotte had move forward to catch her.
Maybe the universe is talking to these people and saying something like, "Don't fucking do that move."
Pat, you've said that they do that move too much. That's one I will say that I feel like they don't need to do that in every. I feel like that happens in every single match now.
And it's it is overused. And the other problem is it's a high risk, low reward type move because I mean, it's like it's a move that I guess gets people out of their seats, but I don't see why anymore because it's been overused to death. But it's also not the kind of move where it really like looks like it has a high impact, like where it looks like you're doing a lot of damage to your opponent. So
unless they get
like, that's why I've never really
if they get rammed into the barricade behind them, that maybe is believable, but that doesn't always happen that way. So,
but it seems like that's never the way it happens anymore. It seems like it's always like all of a sudden 3 people are congregating outside the ring for no apparent reason. And like they just kind of like stop like fighting, and then all of a sudden there's the guy come diving over the ropes or through the ropes, and like, oh, I gotta catch him. Oh.
The other thing last night
is that how they sound, Pat?
Yes, they do their best Goofy impression.
I told Joe this earlier. They had a perfect opportunity last night. They had Hit Row backstage. They had a perfect opportunity. They showed them on TV. The New Day came out. And they were like, he was 19 Kofi, which I thought was boring. But instead of sending Hit Row out, let's send the Usos out and have the Usos and the New Day feud for the 8,000th time.
Yeah.
Like you have all these people that just got drafted. But let's go back to that. Let's go back to that because we don't trust anything else here other than the Usos and the New Day to do anything.
They're just going back to their comfort level. That's what it is. They're comfortable with those two, and they're still undecided of what to do with the people that got called up.
And you said this was last night on SmackDown, this botch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Naomi was fighting Shayna Baszler. It's right at the end of the match. So I feel like I'd be surprised if you'd have to actually have it taped because I feel like they would not want you to have access to that footage.
I mean, it's possible, but you never know.
Guys, they went back and refilmed the Charlotte Becky thing from a week ago. They went back and refilmed that to make it look like she didn't drop the belt and didn't throw the belt, whatever.
Yeah, and that's just dumb because majority of the fans aren't really going to know what's going on. The casual fan doesn't. They're not going to catch that. They're not going. They just think it's part of the whole show. The hardcore fans are going to be like, "Yeah, something's wrong there." Where the casual fans are like, "Yeah, that was cool. They're mad at each other. Why don't they wrestle?"
We had the other night on Dynamite. I'm not as big a fan of these guys dressing up as like cosplaying even for Halloween, and we had the Elite dress up like the Ghostbusters. And
you said she dives from out to in.
Yeah, she jumps on the ropes and falls.
Oh, I got it.
I read something that said that they wanted to dress up as Squid Game characters, but somebody talked them out of it because,
Oh, yeah.
That's on a different network. Even though Netflix isn't really a network in that sense, but, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's look at this.
Okay. So I just watched this. This is, I feel bad for her because this would probably hurt like fucking hell. Like, but this is bad. Like, this is bad. And, Jesus Christ.
I mean, the only good thing out of that is like it didn't mess up the whole flow per se. They worked through it, but it's just damn.
And I don't like her, and I don't think she's a very good wrestler. So that just completely, I was just laughing as it was happening. I'm like, this is fucking fabulous. Let's put her in the bloodline. That's a great idea. Let's put this girl that can't even do that right. Let's put her in the bloodline.
How about new?
and the youngest Uso was on NXT the other day. So 4 weeks, pull him up and put him in the bloodline.
The youngest Uso?
Yes.
There's another one?
There's another one.
God, these guys replicate. These guys multiply like fucking rabbits.
NXT.
Isn't it Joe Fatu, I think?
Yeah. NXT actually hit rock bottom on Tuesday. Mandy Rose won the women's title, so I said it can't be worse than that.
Overall, though, the NXT show was probably good. The best show they put on TV. There was a couple botches that,
and some questionable match. If you were Pat, can find Io Shirai when the ladder falls. and she's supposed to fall off the ladder frontwards, and the ladder doesn't fall the right way, and she almost I don't know how she didn't get hurt.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was a match for the tag. Was it the tag belt once? Yeah, they were doing like a move off the top ropes, and the lumberjacks did not catch the guys coming off the top rope, and pretty much just let them fall flat on their faces on the outside. Yeah, it was bad. Those guys could have got hurt in the worst way. I would have lost.
And I'm guessing this was from Wednesday,
Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday. Sorry, the 26th. Yes, the 26th.
It is like the botches and the results in the match aren't popular, but the actual show itself and like what it produced and the matches were
this
actually
is like
good.
Right at the ladder. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I got to see where this ladder falls. You said the ladder falls?
Yeah, Io's on the ladder and it falls and hits the ring ropes and doesn't it's like she didn't fall the way she thought it was going to, because there's another ladder outside the ring that she then falls on.
Okay, I got to get it to the right spot here. I'm trying to. That's a lot of booty on that one girl.
Io's a very good women's wrestler. She might be the best women's wrestler.
Which one is she? I don't know Io Shirai.
She's a Japanese lady. She's a shorter. She doesn't do good in ladder matches. She's been in every ladder match. She's been in Something's Gone Wrong.
Is she in green or red? Oh, nope. I see her. She's got red and maybe purplish red, something like that.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of crazy stuff, but this just didn't go well.
Hey, real quick, while he's trying to pull it up, still got the Penn State game on here on my monitor, and on the bottom line, it said that Harbaugh is 2-9 on the road in matchup of ranked teams. Now, I don't know if that was just during his time at Michigan. It didn't, because it was a little weird that it was worded. But if it is, again, 2-9 on the road against ranked teams, yeah, that's another reason why again, it doesn't feel like he's gotten the job done. So just
2-9.
I found it.
Yes.
Ow. This looks painful. Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go, Darth Pat. We get to see some more. We get to see some pain now.
Oh, good. I love the pain.
No pain, no gain, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So here we go. This looks really painful.
Io.
There's Io. Whoop.
Oh,
Whoop.
Oh, ow, ooh, ouch.
Whoop.
Yes.
Yeah, just don't get
was
up.
supposed to go through without flipping, I think.
I think just don't get up at that point. Just sit out the rest of the match and
I'm dead.
She's fine. How did she not something bad happen there? She's fine, but
she goes. She gets up and she's like,
wicked, though.
"I'm dead."
How you want to take?
How is she fine? How is she fine? Oh, I know how to fall.
The redhead Jeremy that's in that match, that's Darby Allin's ex-wife from AEW.
Oh. Yeah, she's the one that I said there. That's a whole lot of booty there.
Yeah.
Is she the one with the abuse accusations, or is that another one?
No. No, that's Riddle. I thought that was Riddle. Or no, there was stuff with Riddle.
I thought Darby Allin had some too.
It's probably her then.
No.
Yeah, Darby Allin has some too.
That's his ex-wife. So.
Yeah, they didn't have a good breakup.
Yikes.
Sounds like they had a shakeup before the breakup. Oh, that was a bad joke. Just not good. Not at all.
Yeah,
that was one of your dad jokes right there.
I think you should apologize for that before you get us all canceled.
That's funny.
I'm not joking.
Well, they can't cancel something that's not famous, so we got no fame. But no, it's not.
That's what you think.
But no. All joking aside, no, abuse is not funny, but it's kind of a funny little.
I don't necessarily remember a specific thing, but I remember MJF again the other night. Give that guy a microphone and just it's gold. Every time that guy touches a microphone, it's just fantastic watching him just shit on the crowd and just enjoy when people shit back, and he just throws it right back at him. He like, I know the other day he was like, "Fat boy in the crowd, I've got the microphone, not you."
Yeah, they give him a lot of leeway to his word choices and how he does his heel promos. He gets away with a lot of shit.
He was saying something about he was talking about a penis and vagina the other night. He was definitely making some kind of reference to that. I don't remember exactly I wouldn't touch that with this person's something. He was doing something along that line. He was shitting on the people, and he made fun of the accent of the people up there too. So
yeah, he definitely goes above and beyond to do his promos in heel mode.
He gets more leeway than anybody else in that company for sure.
Or anyone else in any company right now.
I feel like if Dwayne came out, I feel like Vince would be like, "All right, Dwayne, just go out there and don't."
Yeah,
don't
but the thing with Dwayne, he's not going to go down the certain roads that MJF goes down.
But it's because he's a face. If he was a heel, there may be more leeway. But he's a face, and he doesn't need to go that route either.
So was this on Dynamite 2 days ago?
Yes, and no, Dynamite 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
Once a night.
Let me see if I can. I'd like to hear a little bit of it.
I don't think the show was. I thought the show was average this week. I thought that the Dynamite was average. So they did.
Yeah,
they did.
It's going to be for a while.
They did have Nakazawa dressed up as a big baby, and it said "Bebe" on it.
Yeah, they did do that.
That was funny.
I saw that little funny nod
as the Marshmallow Man.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second because I want to find a really funny part.
Oh, he's gonna skim through it.
I am.
And he does good. He definitely, man. No other company will allow him to say the shit he says right now, at all. They'd be like, "You need to pump the brakes, bro."
I know. I couldn't believe a week ago they let him tell Sting, "I'm going to put you in a wheelchair like your friend Lex Luger."
Yeah, I know. They definitely went there with some of that stuff.
And Cody cut a promo the other day at Pat, and he was like, basically, I felt like it was a shoot. He was like, "I know you guys want me to turn heel, but I'm not going to turn heel." Like, he was basically talking about that in his promo.
I'm not taking the easy way out.
Yes,
we're taking the easy route.
The easy way out.
Find anything good yet? You still looking?
No, I found something good here. This is what heel wrestling. This is what heel promos need to be. I only listened to 15, 20 seconds of this, but
that's enough.
This is
he's the best guy in wrestling on the mic right now. Like, I'll take him over anybody right now.
And that's pinning shoulders on.
Let me go back.
You just got to see me do what I do best, and that's pinning shoulders on.
This is awesome.
And banging rats. Except the only problem is I'm going to have to skip the second part this week, since I'd rather shove my junk in a blender than go anywhere near your disgusting fat women.
That is unbelievable.
You know, I don't think he's going to get a Christmas bonus.
I'd rather shove my junk in a blender. Like, that's
and he I think on Ramp, but I don't even know. They didn't necessarily say he was going to be on either. So I'm like, bonus MJF with the microphone. Like, that's like bonus. If you get MJF with the microphone, that you're guaranteed entertainment there.
Yeah. That was funny.
Oh, yeah, his promos are. Oof.
He's got his finger on the pulse with promo work for sure. Like, he's
right. And I mean, we're not going to see those kind of promos in WWE because it's just not that time. It's not that way anymore.
Nope, too many kids.
But WWE could do heel promos and shit on places, so to say, and say some things that would get the crowd pissed off without having to be disgusting or foul about it. Like, there's ways to do it. They don't. Like, you very rarely hear it.
Mm-mm.
You just,
Not that often.
You got to insult, like, and it sucks because you got to insult the sports team. You got to say how dumpy the town is, that you're the city that you're in. You got to say something about the how the people themselves, like. Yeah, but WWE won't do it because they don't want to. They don't want anybody to come back and say that's not right. You shouldn't say that about people. We're gonna cancel you. They don't want any of that talk. Nothing.
What I'd like
Jeremy,
to have right now is for all of you fat, out of shape Pennsylvania pissants, keep the noise down while I take my robe off and give you a good look at the next World Wrestling Federation champion.
I just sent you something, Jeremy. I sent all you guys something. If you want to throw that up, it's an interesting little one. It's like one of those things where you have to pick from something.
But
also,
the funny thing you mentioned that, Jeremy. Somebody did either like complain or sue or something back in the day when Rick Rude was cutting those promos.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember what city or town it was, but just to like we're on the safe side or something. Like whenever they returned to that city, he would he would tone it down. He wouldn't go quite as far with some of the stuff that he said. So. Just to say so, people getting offended at things isn't just something that's happened like the last 5 years or whatever.
Did you get the picture, Jeremy?
Yes, I gotta figure a way to bring it up on.
I mean, I sent it to Joe too. So
yeah,
and that game is now done. Is pretty much over. Penn State will lose. Ohio State shall win.
Where did you send it to me at? On.
I thought I sent it in the group thing. The group
did.
chat. I thought I texted it.
The only thing I see is the Ohio State band trolling.
I saw something that comes through my phone, but I'm doing this on my phone, so I really.
I'm airdropping it to myself. I got it. Yes. Bloop.
You have to transfer it to my laptop.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I actually just saw this today. I just saw this today. So.
I think the biggest thing with AEW right now is I need to get certain feuds put together, and I have all these random people wrestling each other.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit too much like it's like random stuff from week to week and I almost say this because it's they don't have pay-per-views, which is also probably for the best, but it does seem like that. Yeah, they're not. I don't know. They're not fully there.
There we go. Now we can see this better.
I mean, they have, a couple here and there, but they need to get some more stuff to find. Wow, what is this?
So
bring one to WWE, one, erase one from history.
Yeah. So I would take Adam Cole's already been in WWE, and I don't want them to ruin Kenny. I do like Darby, but I would bring Darby there because they're going to ruin whoever they take. I would fire Ed, and I would eliminate Austin.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
I would bring Omega to WWE just to see what it would be like. Probably wouldn't be great, but I would just be curious.
I know you're gonna fire.
I would fire Rollins because I find him just so thoroughly annoying right now. And erasing one from history. Well, the one
that's hard.
The one that you would erase that would have the least impact on the space-time continuum, if you will, is definitely the son-in-law. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I can say, I guess bring Darby, and I would fire Roman.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. I've been
He's like
indifferent
the
towards
best thing
Roman
WWE.
for a long time.
He is the
He's
best
like
thing he has right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's not, but I've been indifferent from him probably since the breakup of the Shield. I've been indifferent about him. And to race, oof, yeah, I'd have to say Triple H because the other two, in my personal opinion, just had way more impact on overall wrestling.
They did. I just
I
don't like
know. We know your opinion of Austin.
I guess. Fuck. I'd fire Edge. Makes most sense. He's at the end of his career.
Right.
Who cares?
That's my main reason because he's 50 whatever.
True.
Well, that's also why I wouldn't fire Edge is because he's towards the end of his career and he can't really have that much longer to go anyway. So
He'll just retire.
Bring to WWE. Oh Christ.
Ooh, Christ.
I guess Omega. I just think he has a better upside. He's
No,
a
he
better
does,
upside
but that's why I
than
don't want him.
Darby.
That's why I don't want him in WWE because they're going to ruin him. So
yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Ruin everything you touch.
Erase one from history. Who shall I pick for this one? I'll erase Triple H.
he's the logical choice in that one.
I mean, I'm not trying to pick on the guy, but again, when you think about like the history of wrestling, who had the biggest impact and everything, and who was like really truly like some of those like important figures. I mean, there's not a lot of positive with Triple H for that because there is that perception that there was that long period where it was the Triple H show to the detriment of several other guys on the roster and everything. So it's like in a lot of ways, he was the hanger on who somehow parlayed that into becoming like the focus of the show, but he was never the guy that I think people were like necessarily like paying their money to see,
So Pat, can you please explain to me why Seth Rollins is A, B, C, and D with what's wrong with WWE?
Because I turned Raw on the other night and he was giving a promo.
Which was fantastic, by the way.
I thought the promo was shit because I thought it was just, what the fuck is he doing? It's just all over the place. It's like, if he's still doing this Messiah thing, I don't know. If he's trying to do somebody who's like fucking schizo, I don't know. It's just it seems kind of poorly defined, and I guess it's really probably mostly the like the creative team's fault and everything more so than him. But he's just, I also don't find him all that interesting in between the ropes anymore either. It's like, I know he'll go out there and he'll work a good match, but I don't think he's like, I'm not so sure anymore that he's capable of like putting on spectacular matches or having like great matches with everybody he works with kind of thing.
He was just in the Hell in a Cell match, which was arguably the best WWE match of the year. That was like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I know, but I refuse to watch that match, so that's a problem for me.
That's an example. Like he's been in all his matches with Edge were really good, and he's one of the 5 best wrestlers in the world, in my opinion, right now. Like easily, he's in the top 5 in the ring.
I don't know. Again, it's just there's just something like I'm not feeling it with him. I'm not like connecting with him, and like a lot of ways, I feel like he's Triple H circa 2003 right now. I'm just like, this guy. I don't know. It's just,
and he's really good on. And
I can't really explain it. It's just I don't know. I'm not finding him incredibly interesting.
All right.
It's hard for some people.
It is.
I can see where he's a little off the wall and kind of craziness, but I'm digging it for now.
I mean, it was funny. It was funny when Kevin Owens called him Cruella DeVille the other night. That was funny.
He does need to be put in programs with people who can. I mean, Edge is towards the end of his career, and the whole Rey Mysterio and Dominic thing played out way too long. I think he does need to be in some programs with some people who can actually go.
I mean, they put him in a program with Big E, and he's iffy to me. So.
Yeah, he needs to be, he needs to get back in a program with someone who can go at his level too. I mean, Big E's fine in the ring; he can work his ass off. But
WWE is, you know what they're doing a really, really good job with Roman and the Paul Heyman shit. This slow burn with Paul Heyman, where he's going to go back with Brock probably at WrestleMania. They're doing a really good job of the slow burn with this, because last night when that girl interviewed him and he was just like started talking about Brock and got all excited and then was like, oh, but the tribal chief, it was like he was playing like he forgot that he was supposed to be talking about Roman, and he started talking about Brock Lesnar. So
it's the best story they have.
It is the best story they have right now.
Everything else is very mediocre.
Slow build, and it's
a little vanilla.
Yes, it's going to be a slow build to WrestleMania. We're not getting Brock Roman until probably WrestleMania. Again, they're probably.
And it's funny, like Brock's in the ring holding the belt, and you hear I didn't hear what he said at first, but then I watched the replay, and it's like he's like, "I'm going to beat you at Mania" or something like that. He referenced WrestleMania. I was like, "Oh, okay."
And he got,
you know where it's going.
He got fined $1 million by Adam Pearce yesterday.
Wait a minute. He was fined $1 million.
Yes, Nicole actually said Adam Pearce should have done that when he said it. So they were like, "This is a monumental fine. We've never fined somebody this much ever."
The fake fine, but yeah, we'll take
it.
Yeah, YB, he gets paid $10 million a year to do his part-time shit, so yeah, he can afford it.
Yeah, so we're not going to see him until the Rumble. We'll probably see him at the Rumble. And right now, they don't have a pay-per-view announced in between the Rumble and WrestleMania. They haven't announced anything yet. They probably will, but they don't have any.
I actually hope they don't. I'd rather not have a pay-per-view between Rumble and Mania.
Have
used the shows to build storylines for Mania at that point?
By the way, speaking of pay-per-views, we have our pay-per-view coming up in a couple weeks. Which is Survivor Series. Have we confirmed a special guest for that day for our watch party?
We don't know yet because it depends on his work schedule, but it's possible.
Right. Well, we've got to tell that punk ass mofo to make sure he's off.
Well, the problem is he just started a new job though. I know. And it's harder when you just start a new job. So, but he wants to. Like I ran it by him, and he said if he's going to be around, then.
So more to come, get fans, on whether we will have a special guest for our watch party, which will be, of course, on Facebook Live for the Survivor Series. And with that being
the train wreck.
Yeah, which is going to probably be a train wreck, as most WWE pay-per-views are. But I think it's time to do. I should get that. I got to get that one. Yeah. See?
Yes.
Every time we do a podcast, I get more thoughts for sound bites.
Oh, you want me to put my poll up? All right, let's put our poll up. Who has the better hair?
Oh, what?
What is this shit?
Well, my hair was just recently done, so it looks beautiful. Good. Nice and short.
Buddy.
I voted for
Okay, yeah, let's see. I'm voting for the obvious choice here.
Let's see. How do we vote?
Wait a minute. Where can you vote? It doesn't give me the option to vote.
It popped up on my screen. I just touched Pat and hit submit.
Oh, you voted for me?
Yeah.
What the hell? I can't vote. I don't know how to vote. Maybe it's because I'm sharing. Maybe let me stop sharing. Maybe I can.
I voted, of course, for the person who has the most hair.
I was messing around because we always joke around my hair. You guys with short hair.
He dyes it though, so he dyes it.
No, you don't.
Who dyes it?
Scandal.
Who dyes their hair?
You dye your hair, Joe.
I haven't dyed my hair in years. Yeah, it doesn't let me.
Yeah, I can't. I guess it's because we're the host. We're the hostess with the mostest, and we can't.
Yeah. I guess if we're the host, we can't do that. You're a co-host, so you can't.
Well, it's a 50-50 split. My vote would have been funny. My vote would have been for no one, because we all have shitty hair. No, I'm just kidding.
You should come up.
It was funny. I just wanted to randomly do that.
You should do some of that. You should throw some of come up with some of that stuff for Survivor Series, and they can be objective questions too, like that. You should throw up put 4 people up and say, something wrestling. Obviously, they should be wrestling related that night. But if you can come up with more of those poll questions like that, those are interesting. I mean,
I actually am going to use the poll thing for the Survivor Series.
Personally, for me.
Well, here's the thing with the poll thing. Our fans can't see it. So we'd have to put it in Facebook. So that's how we'd have to do that.
Because the best poll question already for sure would be, who is the biggest piece of shit in wrestling right now? That would be my first. I'd be like,
oh my God,
my first one.
Of course he'd go there with that one.
Who's the POS of all time?
Yeah.
Well, no, you guys already know the answer to that. For me, his name starts with the G. Who's the biggest piece of shit of all time? His name starts with the G, and it rhymes with Oldberg.
With Oldberg, nice.
I don't even have to think about that one.
You're a piece of shit. You know that.
What's the opposite of Gilbert?
All right, so we are going to move on to our Mount Rushmore of favorite theme songs for wrestling entrances of all time, like our favorite of all time.
Yes.
So this is going to be fucking interesting. We all sent for all our fans out there, we all sent a list to Joe. So he's the only one that knows everybody's Mount Rushmore, because we're going to do a little fun thing here. We're going to play the entrance music for our Mount Rushmores. Now, Joe, do you want us to actually say what they are, or are you just going to play them and everybody's just got to know what they are?
Or we can say it after, but I think it's more fun if he plays them first.
I think it's more
Yes,
fun
you have to share. Yep, you're sharing.
What, Pat?
I think it's more fun if he plays them first.
Yes, play them and then we'll say them if you don't know what they are. Now, I'm going to guess that AJ will know all of these without even have to think about them. Unless it's something from a New Japan or some shit like that he doesn't watch.
Unless Pat hit some obscure garbage from 1985.
No, I don't think so. No.
I almost threw. I'll be honest. Before we go into this, I almost put "I Am a Real American" on there on my top. I was thinking really hard about it because I loved that theme music as a kid.
I mean, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's not bad. So it's definitely something that if I thought maybe somebody else could have that on their list. So
you will be surprised what is on this list and what is not on this list.
Yes.
Play that funky music, white boy.
I will play the music, and I am a white boy. So let's go.
That's what I said. Play that funky music, white boy.
All right, who you doing first here, Joe?
Well, I'm only doing one person, and that person's at work right now. So it all depends on you explain who am I doing right now.
I also
Whose Mount Rushmore are you going to play first there, jack off?
More fun if he doesn't. If he plays the music all 4 of them, and because I think we're gonna know who's. So
no, you might not. You might not. So I'm gonna start with this person. No. Oh wait, I don't gotta talk. I just gotta click on play. Make sure the volume's good. All right, so then let's get this ball rolling. Do. Oh wait, hold on. Slow roll. I forgot I have the songs in 2 different areas because the one area in Spotify didn't have all the songs, to be honest.
How dare
really
they?
Surprised me.
It's on Spotify.
But I have them on YouTube, so it's all right.
Always blaming your shortcomings on something else.
Hey now. Hold on. I want to. Oh yeah, this one I need to get rid of.
Pat, your face.
Yes, I'm trying new facial expressions on this show tonight.
Oh yeah. Okay. Timeout.
Timeout. Call fucking timeout.
Yeah, I could call timeout. God damn it. I forgot.
Is this the Michigan game? Are you out of timeouts and going to get penalized now for it?
What, did I just pull Chris Webber?
Yeah, is your name Chris Webber?
No.
Yeah, if that's not annoying, Pat, shut the fuck up.
Yes, it was the intermission music from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Let me stop my sharing real quick, so I'll make sure this is the right one. Yeah.
Well, it looks like the good guys are winning in the baseball game right now too.
Yeah,
There
they're
are no
back-to-back
good guys in
homers.
that baseball game.
What, Pat?
There are no good guys. In
Wow.
that baseball.
There's bad guys and then okay guys, I guess. So the bad guys aren't winning.
The bad guys. It's awesome.
We're sharing now.
Okay.
Okay.
Our
Round
fans,
two.
he's got to figure it out
Try
now.
this again. Round 2.
Let's see. I think all of his are on here. So that one. Oh, so yours are this person's is all okay. Yours is all on here. Okay. So okay, let's start with this one. Make sure it's loud and clear.
Yeah. 3-6, mafia. Say what?
This is fantastic theme music. 3-6 Mafia is on.
Y'all know what time it is. We ain't playing with you in the club.
Mark Henry instantly became cool when he came out with that music.
In the club. Actually, this is a good theme music.
It is.
I was never that big a fan of 3-6 Mafia, but that
I
was.
definitely like 3-6 Mafia.
Just remember
So that was
Just remember
Henry.
Just remember that 3-6 Mafia won an Academy Award before Martin Scorsese did.
For Hustle and Flow.
I
Yeah,
forgot
whatever.
that 3-6 Mafia did his music for that one.
Yeah. Next on this list for this person. Wait, let me turn this one up really loud.
Oh, okay.
Just cause. You gotta play the Warriors music loud. Just cause. And Pat's dancing, so I'm gonna keep this going for a little bit. He's shaking the head.
Guys, I may have told you guys this before. When I was married the first time, one of my friends up in New Hampshire, I think some of you guys met my friend Nathan. He asked me one time, he's like, before you have sex, do you dress up like the Ultimate Warrior and play his music and run into the room and stake the bed?
I hope you answered truthfully. Yes.
The mask on.
I can guarantee you there's been men in this world that have done that. In the 80s.
Not that
Yeah.
high, but it was hilarious when he asked me that question, guys. My face was like, wow, I can't believe you even threw that out there.
That's a good question, though. Just
Yes.
like I can imagine there's been guys who have dressed up like Ravishing Rick Rude and
Yes.
performed that little stunt in
Yes.
front of their bed before getting it on.
Yeah, so
That's
That's
if
how you-
their other
That's how
half
you hook 'em,
decided
Pat.
not to
There
get up
you go,
to leave.
Pat. That's how you hook them, Pat.
it's basically like, I've never thought about that before, but now that you mention it,
Oh my god. All right, so number 3.
Nice. Let's go showing Seth Rollins some love.
Burn it down!
Well, I know whose list this isn't.
I know whose list this isn't. And the final one.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
They had some dumb versions on here, so this is the one that was the best audio one.
I can believe it. All right.
I feel like that's Jeremy's list.
That is.
You are correct.
That is my list for sure.
Those
that
are all
was,
Solid choices too, Jeremy. I don't really like when he says burn it down in his music, but I like his music otherwise.
That was weak rock music. Well,
I love the original version.
Well, that wasn't the original version.
Yeah, you know, so on here
the original version is the Nathan version of the Rock's music.
Yeah, but
okay, with the original version of his solo career, like not with anybody else.
Well, that still isn't. There was one version of rock music that, of course, stands above all others. Is cooking.
Yes, the helicopter theme one.
Yeah, the helicopter one. Yeah,
I fucking hate that one with a passion.
And I like it.
I was
hate the
waiting.
Helicopter one. I think it's fucking horrible.
I was waiting for Matt to be like, "What the fuck is with the Mark Henry music?"
I like Mark Henry,
but I'll tell you what. When this was so hard for me, like doing this list of like
this
Mount
is hard
Rushmore,
for me too
because
I have like 15. I just want to throw in one.
I have 15. I had 15. I had 20. But
I could have come up with 50.
Right.
Well, and it's hard for me because there were so many wrestlers that I like, but I don't necessarily like their theme music.
Right.
That was the hard part. I'm like, oh, I like John Cena, but I actually am sick of his theme music. I really don't like it anymore. Like, I wanted to throw John Cena on there because I like him as a wrestler, but I'm like, no, his theme music annoys the shit out of me anymore. You know,
I've never been a big fan of My Time Is Now. You know,
when I was actually talking to the other Pat the other day, we were talking about Mark Henry, and he came up and Pat was like, I liked Mark Henry, and I'm like, me too. I'm like, it's kind of bad. I don't want to admit it necessarily, but I actually like Mark too. So, and Pat actually said, was there a person? He actually used Mark Henry as a good reference point as somebody whose career just started off miserably, and he was able to turn it into a positive. And I said the Miz was the other person who was just absolutely awful at the beginning. That was
where he's reading it off his wrist.
Yes, positive. But Mark Henry was pretty bad at the beginning. It was pretty bad for him. So,
all right, what do we got next there, Joe? Yeah, a little Jericho.
Yeah.
I almost picked this one too.
Yeah, that is. Where's the other one? Oh, there's the other one. You hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little edge.
Good. Really good music.
And now it's louder.
Yeah, the two different things. I don't know what the thing is.
I don't know whose list this is now.
I already know
what is this from?
TNA.
Is this from ECW?
TNA.
Yeah, TNA. Yeah, they let him put the whole fucking show in there.
Yeah,
they bleeped it out, but
they did a whole freaking show. His ECW stuff was okay, but that's the version I love the best.
So two of your three so far, Joe, were actually on my friend Jay's list. Also, he picked Jericho and RVDs on his list.
Good. Who do you think I picked this last one?
Oh, I wonder. Cult of Personality could be coming.
I'm gonna say no because that's too obvious. It's too obvious. Too obvious.
Cult of Personality is coming.
I don't know. I mean, I could pick I Walk Alone.
You could, which Jay actually said he likes Batista's music too.
Yeah, because that was number one. Or I can just go, a Real American. Which I actually didn't. No, it's CM Punk's music. To be honest with you, it was between his or AJ's, because AJ Styles is not made by a rock band like Punk's is, and
CM Punk's music is awesome. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So,
and the other one too is Triple H's old music by
Motorhead.
Yeah, got the bit. Yeah, Motorhead.
Time to Play the Game. That one.
Yeah, that's a favorite of mine.
Well, they did all his music. They did King of Kings. They did.
Yeah.
Motorhead. He's a big Motorhead fan. He's a big Lemmy fan.
Yeah, Motorhead's a good group.
I feel like me and Pat's list, there's going to be a lot of disparity, so it's probably not going to be hard to figure out these two. I just feel like there's going to be some disparity on these two.
I think we might be surprised at what Pat puts on there. I think I'm going to be very surprised. It ought to be interesting.
So I saw Pat's list, and
my list isn't really that much of a surprise.
I think maybe two of them I wasn't 100% sure.
What about mine, Joe? Would you have said mine? It's pretty. I felt like mine's pretty obvious, personally.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, Ages is obvious.
Okay. Well, you got.
I can play one of his songs. You'll know who it is.
Let's hear the next four.
No,
I don't recognize this.
Yes, you do. The Freebirds.
This is old classic rock shit too. This is good stuff from back then.
Now I hear it now. I it's such a old, you're talking. I never ever watched that except for like clips. So I never caught their music.
That's like the original wrestling theme music in a lot of ways. I think it was like the first time that
Bad Street USA.
A song was composed specifically to be an entrance theme and everything. Of course, Michael Hayes is as a vocalist is about as good as Chris Jericho is.
Not good.
Jericho's
not terrible, but he should stop trying to pass him. He should stop trying to pass himself off as a rock star.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Jericho,
he sells a lot of records too, by the way.
Yes, a lot of wrestling fans love his music. Yes.
Well, a lot of people in the UK, like his music. Not.
He's famous like David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. Fozzy is bigger over there than they are here by far. He's in every single book of his. He talks about how Fozzy's way more popular in the UK than they are here.
Which just further goes to prove my point. Germans love David Hasselhoff. But no, Jericho and Hayes, they both.
How come I feel like Joe's shaking his head because he's got a Fozzy album? It's a secret. Shh, don't
continue, Joe. With we already know whose list this is, so continue.
Trust me.
Now, there's no doubt about it.
This is a good theme music too, to be honest.
Yeah, I was not ever really there on that one, so.
Do you know who it is yet, Jeremy?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear the voice at the beginning?
No. Trust me. That's all I could hear, but I couldn't tell whose voice it was.
He brings a reptile to the ring here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, snake.
When Jake turned heel in 1991, that was like the new music they gave him, which it was his old music slowed down, and it was actually then pushed to the background, and then they put like that newer stuff up on top of it. So it was so it was slow and dark and brooding and creepy and everything. So yeah, because it's like I feel too many times when they switch somebody face heel, they don't appropriately change their music. Like Becky, since she turned heel, shouldn't be using the same music as from when she was, from before. They should have given her new music and everything, because it's like that music it's not heelish. So I'm
just gonna say this right now. Don't mean it, but John Moxley right now is the walking image of somebody who they put music with that does not fit his character. The Wild Thing, that music is corny and it does not fit John Moxley's character at all. Like his.
Oh, he's supposed to be crazy and unhinged and everything.
So, but that music is not really that kind of music, though. That music's not what it's not really that kind of. He's about to turn heel here, so that music's not going to fit at all in it when he turns heel.
We'll have to change it then.
Definitely.
All right. What's Darth Pat's next two?
Definitely.
The perfect one.
Nobody. I don't think anybody. Nobody. There was no overlap then.
No.
No, there's no overlap.
It passed last one,
Interesting.
which is my favorite one that he picked.
Really? The Brood.
One of Jay's and two of yours.
This one surprised me for Darth Pat.
It's good music, though.
Yeah.
I freely admit I was going to pick the Edge and Christian music, but then I just said, you know what? I actually like the Brood's music better. Because again, I like how it's like dark and foreboding and everything. Of course, the entrance was cool. So
Pat picked one theme that was almost from 2000. So
yeah, that was the thing too. I was like,
Darth Pat is an old soul.
Yeah,
I didn't pick anything before like 1997.
And that doesn't surprise us.
I mean, for me, though, it was like I said, I could probably come up with like 50 songs.
Yeah,
for Mount Rushmore, I could probably like classify them in different ways and shit. But it was like I didn't want to pick anything that I felt like wasn't like composed as a wrestling theme. So that meant like I wasn't gonna pick CM Punk's music, and I wasn't going to pick Booker T's or the NWOs or stuff like that. So like that was one thing, and like I said, there's just all kinds of ways you could slice them, dice them, and come up with a ton of lists. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like ever since Jim Johnston left the WWE, I haven't been enamored really of too much of their theme music. I feel like too many of them sound similar in some ways, like they're not distinctive enough, and they're just I don't know. I don't feel like enough of them really grab me enough. I will say that Seth does definitely have one of the better, current theme musics, because that one is one that like when you hear it, it does kind of grab you, and it has a different beginning to it and everything. But yeah, like I said, I feel like a lot of the current music is kind of shitty,
except for the CFO stuff. So
CFO, I think that doesn't even work with the company.
No, he doesn't. But he was the NXT guy in NXT Prime. He was making all those theme musics, like Finn Balor and some of those ones. Like I don't want to give away the ones that are because there are CFO musics on my list. So
see, like Balor's music is like just trying to think kind of like real quickly, like maybe it's like stuff from this, like from they say the past 5 to 10 years that I do. Like I like Balor's, I like Samoa Joe's in WWE. I like Styles. The Shield music was good. Those are the ones I can really kind of think of, like without like having to think very hard about it. Like oh, I know I like those ones.
Yeah. So. All right, hit us with AJ's list there, Joe.
You want to guess what one of them is?
I'm gonna go.
The good scene of music.
Yes, indeed.
Basic Thugonomics.
Word life.
I thought you already knew a cat would pick that. This is definitely a better music by far.
I did think about this one, but then I thought that you would probably pick it. So
Yes.
That was another thing. I wanted to try to pick stuff that I didn't think anybody else would pick.
That one I could not pick. I had to pick that one because I've liked that music since the first time I heard it. So, and then he came out with the other music, like Jeremy said, that they've beaten into our heads, and I don't like. Nobody likes that music anymore for Cena.
I think every wrestling fan can sing that theme music and not in a good way.
Guys, my cousin's the band director at Rocky River, and he was telling me and Zach one day when he was over here, he said, sometimes kids, and my cousin can play like 10 different instruments. So he said kids would request stuff, and John Cena's music was regularly requested by kids for him to play.
Wow.
Of course. That's WWE's goal.
Yeah. All right.
Well, see,
Next.
it's also very repetitive, so you can kind of play that kind of easily.
Yeah. Which is this might not be the right version you wanted, Matt, but I was having trouble with versions on here too. But this is the CFO one.
This is the
Nakamura.
This is another one from the
I
last
love
5
this
years that I do.
This is fantastic.
I almost
that I
thought
do
about
really-
this one.
Yeah,
I love
this
this
is
one.
another one from recent years that I do really like. So I'm glad I forgot to mention it.
This is iconic. One of the best theme musics of all time for me. So and most everybody I know thinks that music is fantastic. So it's a general, like, everybody likes that music. And that the first time he did an entrance at that takeover with the guitar or with the violin guy, that's probably the best entrance of all time I've seen in wrestling. Like, over all these other great, I'll take the
Violin was awesome.
Violin for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also great just to watch.
I was wondering if somebody was going to pick this. Some DX music.
NWO was my other one. That was a close on my list too.
I've always liked this theme music too. It's never like, I've always liked that one since day one too.
It's one of the most iconic, I think, really.
Break it down.
That's all I want to do the whole time. Yeah.
Crotch shot. All right. What's his last one?
Take a wild guess.
Oh, Adam Cole, baby.
That's right. Not the new one, his NXT one.
What are you doing, sir?
Make it short.
I thought he said
Okay, Beavis.
Another
So
iconic-
technically, it's not really Adam Cole's music. It's the Undisputed Era.
Undisputed Era.
another iconic NXT music. Like,
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
as long as good as Adam Cole's new music is, I don't know if it's ever. I don't know. He's never. And he even did an interview where he said he's been very lucky. And he said that he got an iconic music in NXT and he's already gotten an iconic music in AEW. He said it doesn't always work out that way for everybody.
All right. So I want to put this out there to anybody who's listening or watching this, wherever you're catching it. Come to our Facebook page, leave a comment, or go to YouTube and leave a comment and tell us what your favorite WWE, AEW, whatever entrance music, wherever you hear it, what is your favorite? Because we would like to know. I think that would be really cool. If you're into wrestling like we are, go leave a comment and tell us what your favorite wrestling entrance theme music is.
That's cool that there was no overlap. That's really cool. There were no repeats.
No, we had.
I kind of had a feeling there really wouldn't be, but you never know.
Basic Thugonomics was one, and Cult of Personality because Pat liked CM Punk. Like, there were a couple that could have been. So.
I was thinking maybe The Rock with me and AJ. That was the only one.
That one. I like DX's music better than The Rock's, though. So.
Yeah.
Too bad this wasn't a theme song for anybody. I'm just joking with you guys.
Pat's like,
You know what? I'm really glad nobody picked Shawn Michaels' theme music. I absolutely detest, with all my heart, that theme music. His sexy voice.
But it's like,
cannot stand
he
it.
could have changed his. He's another one that could have.
It never changed. Like,
besides adding sensational Sherry screaming in his theme music and some other stuff. Yeah, I was never a fan of that either. Yeah. I mean, it was iconic for him in other ways, but that wasn't.
At least Jeremy didn't pick the glass breaking, so at least I didn't have to do that.
I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It just, you knew it was going to be Stone Cold, but the music itself wasn't very good. Like, it wasn't like good theme music. The only thing that was cool about it was the fact that the glass broke, and then after that, it wasn't really anything special.
There you go. Did you say you wanted to hear this?
No. you hear the glass, it's Vince's ass. I remember when he said that.
That's funny.
All right. Oh my goodness. What a great episode, gentlemen.
That was fun.
What a great episode. And what a way to end it with some really cool theme musics and a really great for Mount Rushmore. So with that being said, we really want to thank everybody that tuned in today live on Facebook. We want to thank everybody that's going to either watch it on YouTube or listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pandora. What else do we got out there? We got our iHeartRadio. We've got Spotify.
I don't know anymore. There's so many.
Amazon Music. Wherever you're catching, listening to us, watching it, we just really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we loved making this episode and talking about all the random stuff that we talked about. Catch us. We're trying to come to you guys every week and get these posted. I finally got caught up, so we're trying to get these posted every week so you have a weekly episode to listen to and to watch. And definitely catch us when we go live and we do our watch party with hopefully a special guest that day for the upcoming Survivor Series, which is their annual like Thanksgiving pay-per-view. So that'll be a lot of fun, as it always is.
Their annual Thanksgiving train wreck.
Kind of true. It hasn't been good for quite a few
cranberry
years.
sauce on the side, please. Thank you.
So it'll be interesting. We'll see who's gonna get the turkey legs and who's gonna get a turkey thrown at them or some stuffing thrown at them, because it usually happens every pay-per-view for that.
Like they do these like matches where the champions fight the champions, and they're not always that appealing. So
no. So please join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun. That'll be on Facebook. Easy to find. Four Guys Roundtable Show on Facebook. Boom, you'll find us, and boom, we'll be there right at the start of the show, or probably actually a little bit before. We might watch a little bit of pre-show. And you definitely want to tune in for that, because we are going to be giving a t-shirt giveaway. It's going to be question-based. We're just not sure exactly what the question is going to be. And evidently we're going to play The Price is Right.
You said you were giving away something, so I had some show theme music ready for it. Hey.
So we'll definitely be giving away a shirt, probably 2 shirts. They're going to be Four Guys Roundtable shirts, and we're going to have to at least tune in. You're going to have to at least participate in the conversation, and we're going to have a question probably for you to answer at some point in time. Get the question right, you get a t-shirt. It's going to be pretty simple, very easy. But with that being said, we want to say, as always, thank you for tuning in, and have a what the hell? I am losing my freaking mind. We say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and we'll catch you on the next episode.